and we can push it back. Yeah. Josh, if you just perfect.
So this time, let's make sure it doesn't crease. Sarah, where's Sarah? Is Sarah behind you? Let's make sure it doesn't crease.
Hero's got to that part. That's the best.
Let's just take, is there a way to take it down? If you take it down and no put it
I think that basically the photographer man has some tape in it. get everybody seated. She's literally going to be here in the next minute. Sorry, she's literally in the next minute. She's going to be here.
Oh, she's going to be here.
Yeah. So I think Belle needs to sit here, my darling.
Mrs. Zuckerberg.
Yeah. Belle needs to sit here.
Okay, yeah, I thought so. I was here before, yes.
Belle sits.
Oh, sorry. When Belle leaves, you take me. Where are you sitting?
Doesn't really
Whose
matter.
bag is that?
I don't know.
Is that Tecumber's?
Yes.
Move to
No, Tecumber's fine. You want to leave Tecumber here? Yeah. But Belle should be. Belle should be. Yeah. Okay, so I then will have to stop you. Yeah. I'll ask her if she gives me permission to take over. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's just the problem is with committees you're not allowed to leave them unattended. She's a person. Yeah, then that's fine. Ladies and gentlemen, is this I don't even know what time it is anymore. Probably so about 11. Is that okay? Yeah. We'll just rush on. 11:30. Then is your assistant able to take over?
We'll be able. There's someone in here from my office. I'm not sure who it is. Who that lady? No, it's going to be somebody else. But there was someone in here with a pass.
Don't worry, then I'll be fine.
Is this working? Good morning, everyone. Good morning. Good morning. Can I have your attention, please? I believe we're about to make a start. Thank you. Good morning. Good morning and welcome to the House of Commons. My name is Belle Ribera Addy. I'm the Member of Parliament for Streatham. I'm very pleased to be joining you today in what is an extremely important event. As we know, the climate crisis at the moment, whilst it is mostly perpetuated by countries like our own, in what people call the West, we know that it is most heavily affecting people in the global South, and it has been for years. And whilst the conversation about the climate and the environment overall has ramped up much more in the past few decades, we know that it's something that people from all over the global South, from Africa to Asia to the Caribbean, South America, have been dealing with for a number of years. Strangely enough, when you talk to people in environment campaigns, a lot of the time they say, well, you know, how do we get more black people engaged? And I think to myself, black people are extremely engaged. They are suffering from the effects of it all the time. And actually, when I think about people of colour in the UK and, the fact that they tend to have relatives in many other countries across the world, when an environmental disaster strikes before an aid agency goes, before anybody goes, the thing that gets there the quickest, the first point of aid is often remittances from people in this country who have family abroad. So it is very, very clear that we are quite engaged with these issues. There hasn't often been a lot of agency to be able to deal with these issues in terms of looking at sustainable resources. Unfortunately, when it comes to aid, we've seen a worrying trend over the years where even many private companies are getting involved, and actually delivering that aid is not at all sustainable. When things started in terms of looking at development and looking at these sorts of issues in terms of problems that people are having in the global south. It was always meant to be a means to an end, not an end in itself. And unfortunately, we've created a situation where aid has become an industry. And what do you need when you have an industry? You need supply and demand. And that is not a way to lift people out of poverty. It's not a way to lift people out of the worst effects of the climate crisis. And it's certainly not a way for us to move forward with the current challenges that we face, which is why it's really important that we're talking about recycling in this way and talking about sustainable methods of making sure that people have the resources we need. It's so clear that if any industries are to be developed, it's not ones that keep people in poverty, it's ones that actually give them what they need in terms of resources and actually give them the ability to recycle and reuse many of the materials that we often throw away. It's also very troubling that we find that many countries in the global south are now being used as wastelands. For all of the waste that we have in countries like this one are going over, be it clothes and be it other items. It's fundamentally wrong. And if things like this continue to happen, we're going to see many of these countries swamped. And we're going to see a number of issues arising from that, which only worsen the climate crisis and which only worsen many of the issues that we have there. So it's very, very important that we're talking about sustainability. It's very, very important that we're talking about industries that work firmly on sustainability. And it's very, very important that we're looking at the materials that we already have, reusing them and getting out of this cycle that we have, that everything has to be absolutely brand new, that we continue to extract in a way that depletes our environment, and that we look at ways in which people can truly depend on themselves and not continue to depend on handouts from other nations. And that all starts in one way or another with exchanges like this and commerce. So thank you very much for being part of this conversation. Thank you very much to Yvonne, who's leading this event today and who called on us to be present. And thank you for my colleague, Dawn Butler, who saw a very interesting event and has come along to join today in this discussion. I hope you have a very, very fruitful discussion. My apologies, we have various things happening in this House today, no less PMQs, and I actually have been drawn for one, so that would be quite interesting to see what non-answer I get today. But very, very pleased to have you all here, and I hope you have a very, very fruitful discussion. Thank you very much. I'm going to leave in about 5 minutes.
No. Unfortunately, Bar has to leave in about 5 minutes. So what we want to do is officially make the introduction to the Managing Director. To come back, would you like to? So I'm standing here on my back to everybody. Would you like to make the official introduction to Ife and Free?
Okay. Thank you so much. Do we say
Belle is fine.
Honourable MP? We're aware of your work as both a feminist and a woman who is representing the interest of other women, especially those who are in the BAME community. We know that you sit on the Women's and Equality Committee in Parliament. We see you stepping up today out of a different engagement to join us at very short notice. And we're very excited that we have leaders like you to look up to. And we thank you for your graciousness today and for being here with us, even though you only have a very short time. Here you have an innovative woman, one that is making all kinds of strides in this very interesting space, not only in Nigeria, but across West Africa. Free is a pioneer in the space of recycling of tires in West Africa. So this is really something that we're very proud to bring here into the House. And it's a privilege to introduce Ifedolapo Orunsewé, who is the founder of Free Recycle Limited. They are a UK-based company which has forayed into Africa to do this work. And this is why this is very important. So this is Homecoming and a telling of a success story, and one that is being led by such a very young and dynamic woman. We wanted to say thank you to you. We know that most people love to eat. So we are speaking from the heart right now. Thank you. Should we do that first? Okay, should we do that first?
You go ahead and do this, and I can't find some flip-flops.
Okay. All right. Okay, so before we move on with that presentation, we wanted to draw your attention to the array of different usages of these very interesting repurposing of tires. And maybe I could give Ife the floor. Perhaps you can just talk to some of these things very quickly. And then there are some exhibits here that we can... Thank you. Chairs.
My family are from Ghana in West Africa, and we call this chayote. And the translation in Ga basically means, come on, my friend, let's go. And that's because you just put on your slippers and leave. And these are well used if you've ever been to West Africa. These are great, and these are made from tires.
Yes, the households are made from tires, yes.
But I have asked her to put some with arches for people like me with flat feet.
Yeah, and we're going to work on that, yeah.
So they did one with a step. Where's Patrick? He showed us how to do one where you do it like this, and it's like walking. So yeah. So just one a bit above.
One a bit. Ah. Thank you.
I'm learning the technique of photography as well. Right, ready?
Okay, if I over to you, would you quickly, for the benefit of our host, just talk to this and then we will reconvene in the main presentation.
Okay, thank you very much. Good morning once again to everybody and to the Honorable MP. Thank you for taking out time to join us this morning. I know it's, I know how tight your schedule probably is. Free Recycle Olden is a parent company to a company in Nigeria called Free Recycle Limited that is into the recycling of waste tires in Nigeria. And over the past 3 years, we have, through cutting-edge technology, transformed waste tires into new product. Rubber flooring solutions, insulation materials, transportation flooring, and quite recently, like you've just seen, we kind of went into the sustainable fashion space with the manufacturing of flip-flops using the recycled waste tires as outsoles. And let me also stress that through our recycling process, what we operate is a zero waste technology. The rubber we mold into new product. The steel as well, we recently acquired a steel smelting plant that will allow us process the steel into ingot and then export or actually sell them locally. And then for the fiber from the waste tires, this goes to cement manufacturing company in Nigeria, Lafarge specifically, and it's integrated into their own green cement manufacturing process for energy as well as a byproduct for green cement. And so what you have here basically are some of our product. You have the pavers, which can be utilized outdoors for landscaping, walkways, driveways. And then you also have tiles as well, made from recycled waste tires. These can be used both indoor and outdoor in high-impact areas, in gyms and playgrounds and schools. And then over there, in the last image you have over there, you have the flip-flops, which we recently also launched in Nigeria, and we're also launching here as well in the UK, because we know that there's a huge market here in Europe, especially for products, fashion accessories made from recyclables. And so yes, this is going to be available in the UK. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I suppose the only question I would have is, are they cheaper than what we currently make these products out of?
Are they cheaper compared to other flip-flops?
Yes.
So I'm waiting for a day where you can use eco-friendly and affordable in a sentence. Unfortunately, globally, I'm sure a lot of people will agree with me, recyclables are not cheap. But over time, as we begin to have more players in this industry and with using EPR as well to drive the sector, we can start to look at, products made from recyclables being considerably cheaper, because ultimately that's the goal, to have more of eco-friendly products out there.
And would you say that it would be best for us as lawmakers to look to a situation where the governments provide incentives for people that are using recycled materials to help not only make them cheaper, but I suppose to force companies to look at what we already have as a way of bringing down waste and bringing down the price?
Yes, absolutely. I think incentives, especially in Africa, as we've noticed over the past couple of years, it's very, very important. It's a tool that we need in order to drive the circular economy. So yes, it's very, very crucial. That is something that I believe would go a long way in actually implementing all the policies that we have in the circular economy. Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Are you actually leaving now?
I'm sorry.
I also...
We just wanted to recognise Dawn Butler, and who also has to leave now to go and challenge Qs or whatever, who you're going to be challenging. So if we can just give you the floor for a few.
Thanks, Yvonne. I mean, as Belle said, I walked past and I thought this looks like an interesting meeting, and so I jumped in, and there's nothing that I love better than a business that is sustainable, that uses like the circular economy because it's so smart and so clever, but also women-led. That fills me with so much excitement. And, in Africa, we're always leading the way, whether it be through mobile banking technology and now through, recyclables. I think that this is phenomenal business, and I hope that we can also purchase it in the UK, because we have to promote. I think this is the thing, that we need to start promoting each other's businesses to grow. Quite often we promote and help other businesses grow. Why shouldn't we help our own? And it's just wonderful to be here to witness what you're doing. And Belle always gets the best people in Parliament. So
Thank you.
Brilliant.
On behalf of our process, we wanted to thank you for your time, for being gracious, and especially we wanted you to remember us not by the flip-flops only.
But I will remember the flip-flops.
Yes, not just by that, but when you are munching these.
Wow, food and flowers.
Yes.
Wow.
Thank you so much.
That's so kind of you.
Oh, and
Thank you so much.
thank you. And one. And no,
Dawn, wait, one second. One second. Nobody goes from this place hungry. I don't know if I've said that right, but I don't know what she's presenting.
Yeah, it looks like
There you
Okay, can we hold the flip-flops?
Yeah.
Yes.
There we go.
Better. They last. Yes. All right, we'll close out this.
Right, guys. Quick, because our MPs have to leave.
Let's go now. Have to go.
try.
Right, let's go. 1, 2, 3, go. One more to go. Thank you.
Sorry for running in and out.
So one of your people will be here, right now? One of your people will be here because I need to sort of, and I can't share in your comments. And I have to just be a little bit down as a
Thank you.
Have you got the paperwork? There we go.
Thank you.
See, I'm a great marketer for you, right? Yes, you are. Okay, now then, I think now you can sit here. Yes. Yes. Well, I don't know who's moderating, but what do you need?
We'll get a sit. Will that work?
There's a chair here.
There's a chair because you should be here.
I'll stand here.
Okay.
Sit. We can have a sit here. There's a chair here, and she can be here.
Do you have a speaker who needs to
Be here. Okay. Chair here on the end.
The chair here, literally.
Yeah. Okay.
And we can, and you need to co-chair.
When Baroness leaves, I'll sit.
You'll sit. Okay. It's going to be 5 minutes.
I'm okay. She's the one. She, the doctor, the one that we're trying to manage. So Tamsin will sit on that side.
Okay.
We'll bring her to because she's going to be driving the debate.
Well then.
We barely have 45 minutes left.
Well, we're waiting for one speaker to come up. Oh, isn't Miss Tamsin here?
Order.
Yeah. Order. I haven't got it. Order. Order. Order in the house. Wow. Well, what a morning we've had. It's been so interesting, so educational. You've had some great networking. Now it's a time for you to work. Us up here, we've been talking, we've been hosting. We're now ready, because I know you're full of questions that you need answering around recycling and around how it can work in the UK and how you can help Free Recycling Limited to grow their business. There's a lot of networkers in this room. There's some of our investors are still here. We definitely have some of our media still in the room, and we have speakers and other people who have got interests in recycling. We'll shortly be inviting Tamsin up, who is going to be driving the debate, as I understand. So if you'd like to come and join us here, please, Tamsin.
So I'm just going to read your citation as you Tamsin Lejeune is the founder and CEO of Common Objective, a global community of practice uniting over 65,000 fashion industry members in the shared goal of more sustainable practices across supply chains. COTEC curates sustainability solutions to unique needs of each user and rewards sustainable and ethical business practices through higher search rankings. Prior to CO in 2005, Tamsin founded the Ethical Fashion Forum, the first initiative to unite fashion brands and suppliers towards better practices. Working with the UN International Trade Center to connect business owners, entrepreneurs, and players across the African continent, Europe, and the United States, the Ethical Fashion Forum planted the seeds of what has become a global sustainability and circularity movement in the fashion sector, launching the first collaborative industry events, including the Global Sustainable Fashion Summit in 2013. I give you all Tamsin Lejeune.
Thank you so much. It's wonderful to see such a group of pioneers and change makers in this room. From the very beginning, for over 20 years, I've been working with entrepreneurs and business owners who are looking to take a traditional business model and turn it into something that solves society's greatest challenges, be they climate change or people. And so I think this is a wonderful company, and I'm looking forward to hearing much more about it. I think if we're to identify, and it's already been raised, the biggest challenge facing sustainable business, it's the business case. How do we create that business case? And that's where we need to be putting our creativity and our the greatest minds that we can towards that challenge. Because a recent report by Capgemini found that 79% of executives, and this was across all sectors, still don't see the business case for sustainability. We need to turn that on its head. We need to turn sustainability from a cost to an opportunity. And so I think what would be really interesting today is to focus with this, the great minds and ideas in this room, to how we can tackle for this business the cracks, the doors that we can open further to turn what can be very challenging. I mean, you're pitting yourself against every other business which is using every trick in the book to do things cheaply and simply. And as yet, legislation doesn't support us well enough. It's wonderful that we're here in the center for lawmaking, because the biggest opportunity I see at this point is the fact that there is, for the first time, meaningful legislation. My organization changing the requirements for the way business operates, particularly in Europe. My organization, Common Objective, brings together 65,000 professionals across 28,000 businesses, all committed to a common objective, business that works better for people and the planet. The tech on our platform works in a way that the more sustainable you are, the higher search rankings you get, more customers. It's one tool that we've tried to use to create opportunities, and we'd love to see FreeCycle getting a presence there. But also, I think, what are the ways that we can take a business that is doing good, that is addressing major challenges that face us, and it's interesting to see the malaria point as well, which I'd love to learn more about, and use that to compete in a market which isn't always open to, in which you have every sort of business not operating to high sustainable standards. We're also working with the UN Global Compact. UN Global Compact, I don't know if you're already a member, but one opportunity for us to look at, I think, and again to explore, is that the United Nations Global Compact is looking at creating a marketplace whereby suppliers and brands who are members of UNGC operate to particular standards and look towards, with the UN Global Compact, you have to submit a communication of progress annually. You have to work towards increasingly improved standards. If we can get the requirements to meet, if we can get the way that you work with FreeCycle into those standard systems that operate within the United Nations Global Compact, so that brands who are members are required to achieve change, then we start to see an opportunity for them, and an opportunity for this business too, to stand out, and because in the end, the decisions are financial.
All comes down to money. All comes down to money.
At this point, thank you, Tamsin, for that detailed insight and opportunities which you've just identified for the brand to plug into. At this point, we would like to go to the presentation of the day. The theme is Green to Go, Unlocking Africa's Circular Economy Through Sustainable Innovation. And how this is going to work is we're going to have the founder of this brand talk to us about case studies and some of your success stories in a way that we can understand as non-players. And at the same time, you can, again, because we had to rush through the exhibition, you can let us understand in greater detail the usages of the repurposed products that have come out of the tires. So I give to you the founder, FreeCycle Limited, Ifedolapo Onshewe.
How much time do we have left?
We have just over an hour, so we're good.
Oh, just over an hour. Okay.
That's not for you to talk.
No, of course. I was going to start by telling a story. If you've had the opportunity to see any of our features, we've had quite a number of them, which I'm very, very proud of. Back in 2021, we were featured on Reuters and then World Economic Forum. I've told the story a couple of times, but I would just like to share it again. These all started back in 2017. To think that it started with a road trip. So I say, when I'm talking to my kids, I tell them the tire is it's fascinating. It takes you on a journey, and then to think that when we repurpose them into flip-flops, they are also going to take you on the journey to wherever it is that you're going. So we're driving from Lagos. Lagos is the commercial of Nigeria, and I dare say West Africa as well, were driving outside of Lagos. And if you're familiar with Lagos, if you've ever been to Lagos, we have this very popular dump site called Olusosun. And what typically happens is, when it gets full, sometimes they have, there's a bit of burning going on, and where you have tires burning, it can be a bit of a nightmare. I've seen that happen a couple of times, and aside from that, because we also have a lot of activities in the informal sector in Africa, in Nigeria as well, where you have someone pick up a tire, burn them, to access the steel in them. It is not aware of what it's doing, the pollution, the CO2 emission, other greenhouse gases, that it doesn't know anything about that because it's uneducated. All it wants is the steel in the tire to sell as scrap, and that puts food on the table. So if you've experienced this going on, it got myself and my team thinking, what can we do about this? What solution can we prefer to fix this issue? Not just, and then, because we're also very impact driven. Yes, you want to tackle climate issue. You want to impact on the environment, but most importantly, and you can have certain conversation with people who only care about what they, how to survive, right? So you must also find a way in doing all that to impact on the economy as well as on the community as well by creating employment. So that's what brought us on this journey. It's been about 4 years now, and we currently operate a 5-hectare facility in Ibadan, Oyo State, where we have about 9 lines running. And our solution is very simple. My husband says it's idiot-proof. Basically, what we're doing is, for each tires that we recycle, you have the rubber, you have the steel, you have the fiber. Like I mentioned earlier, it's a zero-waste system. That's what we're trying to achieve, because you don't want to create another menace from trying to fix a problem. So the rubber, from the very beginning, is what we set out to, was what the material that we were mostly working with. The rubber was being recycled into rubber molded product. You have flooring solutions. We have the rubber towels, the rubber pavers. So if you go to gyms especially, you would find our material as gym flooring. If you go to schools, I know here in the UK, it's mostly the wet pour system, but it's a combination of rubber granules from waste tires as well as EPDM, which is a synthetic type of rubber as well. So our solutions are everywhere. You probably just will not notice them. And I've just got back from IFAT, which is an exhibition for solid waste and in Munich, and it was just so, it was so enlightening and educating as well to see what other solutions are, because every day you have to keep looking for more and more ways to deploy solutions. R&D is very, very crucial. I say that without innovation, whatever it is you're trying to build will be dead. So we're very, very innovative. We've put so much of our effort into R&D to develop new product. Hence why recently we diversified into sustainable fashion as well, with the production of flip-flops as well as outsoles, and we're open to co-brand with other brands as well to see what else is possible, especially in the fashion space. Having said that, Africa is facing a significant waste management crisis amplified by rapid urbanization, population growth, and inadequate infrastructure. This has resulted in irresponsible disposal of the vast quantities of waste being generated annually, ranging from discarded tires to electronic waste, which pollutes the environment. These practices not only damage the environment, but also threaten public health, stifle economic productivity, and deprive communities of valuable resources. In response to these issues, Free Recycle Holding Limited was founded in the UK with a mission to deploy, operate, and invest in integrated recycling and manufacturing companies across Africa. It's important to stress this because what you have in most countries is people recycling. You do the first part, which is to recycle, right? But in order to increase our impact and have more impact across different segments of the economy is why we took it a step further to also include manufacturing in it as well. Nigeria was chosen as the pilot location due to its significant waste tire generation and urgent need for sustainable waste management solutions. Nigeria is home to a growing automotive industry, And currently, Nigeria's tire market is a staggering 5.7 million units, comprising of about 3.9 million car tires, and then additional 1.8 from truck tires. And I mean, there's a lot contributing to this. You have movement of oil and gas products from different areas in the country. You also have movement of agricultural produce. A lot of things big due to our population. Oh my God. So, this market is projected to grow to an impressive rate of 3 to 5% annually. With a large and growing population, Nigeria presents both challenges and opportunities, particularly in its automotive industry. However, the disposal of over 11 million tires annually is a big challenge, compounded by limited waste management infrastructure and high unemployment rates, especially among women and youth. To tackle these challenges and test innovative solutions, we established Free Recycle Limited as a subsidiary in Nigeria. And the journey hasn't been without challenges, some of which includes the lack of awareness about the importance of tire recycling among the local communities, absence of effective tire collection system. We've basically had to develop our own infrastructure. One thing that it can be a bit lacking in different states, because in Nigeria, for instance, waste collection and disposal is done on a state basis. It's not at a federal level. So for some of the states, the infrastructure is not there. So we've had to develop our own collection infrastructure, leveraging on technology that allows us to track how the tires are consumed, as well as a system in which, from the moment it becomes waste, there's a collector and aggregator, as well as logistics partner. And through the system as well, they can generate recycling certificates and also access finished products from the recycled waste tires. Also, we've had limited access to advanced recycling technologies. As we speak, all the technologies that we use are all imported. But hopefully in the future, we'll have a situation in which we're able to develop some of these technologies in Africa. Also, there's limited funding. This is, one thing that I cannot stress enough, especially in the recycling space. There's need for specialized funding. Patient funding, I think, is what one of my director calls it. You can invest in any other type of business and expect your ROI in, let's say, 2 to 3 years. For recycling, it's very, very different. And I think that's where the EPR system plays a very, very crucial role. There must be a way for recycling companies to access grants, rebates that makes it easier to operate and even more sustainable as well. We also have dealt with lack of existing governance structures for large-scale recycling and manufacturing operations in Nigeria, and then also lack of in-country expertise to operate the recycling and manufacturing equipment efficiently, and then also absence of an established regulatory framework for waste tire recycling and management in Nigeria. Despite these challenges, our commitment to our mission and our determination to drive positive change fueled our effort, and we approach each obstacle as an opportunity for growth, innovation, and learning, ultimately emerging stronger and more resilient. For solutions deployed, I think I've mentioned a number of them, we launched a public awareness campaign to educate the populace about responsible waste disposal. We've also developed our own robust collection framework for waste tires, and then establishment of the IRM model that we currently run in Nigeria, which has proven to be a success, and also developed a robust governance and we also prioritize transparency, accountability, and ethical conduct with clear lines of authority and effective risk management protocol. I'll go on to our success story. Our journey, though marked by challenges, like some of which I've mentioned, has been a testament to the power of perseverance, innovation, and a steadfast commitment to our mission. These successes we've achieved over the past 4 years are a source of immense pride and validation of our belief in creating a sustainable future. One, as a female-led company, we've been at the forefront of driving equal opportunities for women and youth, fostering an inclusive and empowering work environment. We also own the IP and the manufacturing process which we currently run. We maintain a workforce of over 400 dedicated employees and supported over 100 businesses directly and indirectly. And then our state-of-the-art facility situated on a 2.5-hectare site boasts 9 specialized operating lines, a true testament to our commitment to scale and operational excellence. We've also successfully recycled over 250,000 tires. Please understand that our mission is to be able to recycle over 1 million tires annually, and we're going to get there. And we've prevented over 8,100 metric tons of carbon emissions and mitigating the risk of 2,250 potential malaria mortalities by removing waste tires from landfills, drainages, and illegal dumping sites. And we are proudly aligned with 12 of the Sustainable Development Goals. That's why I have my lapel here. And we've received recognition and featured in documentaries by World Economic Forum, Reuters, the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, Business Insider, Associated Press, Al Jazeera, just to name a few. And we're governed by a diverse team of experienced directors who conduct regular committee meetings, comprehensive internal control systems, and policies based on industry best practices. And I'm sure you're wondering why the UK? The UK has emerged as the ideal launch pad to drive our expansion plans and global reach. Our decision to establish a presence in the UK is not arbitrary. It is rooted in strategic considerations that align perfectly with our vision and aspirations. The UK stands as a beacon of leadership in sustainable development and circular economy practices. Over the years, it has proven to be a fertile ground for innovative solutions, demonstrating a strong commitment to environmental stewardship and progressive policies towards sustainability. And the UK resonates deeply with our mission to create a positive impact through sustainable practices. Additionally, our commitment to strong governance practices and regulatory compliance is paramount. As a demonstration of this commitment, we are proud to announce our intention to list on the London Stock Exchange. This decision underscores our transparency, accountability, and adherence to global standards, enhancing investor confidence and credibility in our operations. Moreover, the UK offers a solid foundation for replicating successful models. Its incredible policies and frameworks provide a robust blueprint for us to expand into other African countries seamlessly by leveraging the abundant expertise and best practices prevalent in the UK. We aim to drive meaningful initiatives in our target market. So our call to action. As we look towards the future, I'm excited to reveal our future plans and invite you to join us on this transformative journey. To announce the establishment of Free Oldham Recycling Limited, Recycle Oldham Limited as our UK parent company, to establish additional recycling facilities in Nigeria and other African countries, to commence the recycling of additional products such as PET bottles and steel smelting, to collaborate with UK organizations on various fronts, including investment opportunities, technology transfer, training programs, and trade partnerships, and also to replicate our successful IRM model across the continent. I urge you to join us in creating a greener, more sustainable world. Let's work together towards a future where waste is not just disposed of irresponsibly, but transformed into valuable resources for generations to come. Thank you.
Absolutely amazing. Thank you so much. I've got to say, all the things that you've just talked about makes me feel that my understanding of recycling is like that much. The only thing I understand about recycling is that the local council have now changed the way that we now have 3 or 4 bins instead of 2 bins, and I'm still not sure what goes in which bins. Plus, from my understanding, when they collect it, you're never sure what happens to that. You know, you don't know that it's going through a real recycling process. So I think there's a lot of education, a lot of information that still needs to be spread around, and for individuals like us. I mean, I would really love to understand what some people in the audience or in the room understand about recycling, because it certainly isn't at the level that you're speaking of. I think we will now, at this point, open for questions. And are you ready?
A quick recap,
Yeah.
which I think would help us to really focus on some of the, in a salient way, some of the key achievements of the brand. So according to your business model and all of the things that you have just talked about, you have prioritized holistic sustainability, recycling for local African and international consumption using local materials and labor. Value creation is important to your brand. You are creating employment as well as manufacturing, and also your impact footprints are well aligned with where the local needs are, both in terms of environmental issues and in terms of the needs of the citizens of those communities, where you are gathering all of this waste. So it's clear that you are one person, but there is a movement involving some dynamic individuals, and I think it's important that we recognize that your board members are here, and just to celebrate the genius that has, in 4 years, been able to bring this company this far. So if you're a board member, can we see by your show of hands?
Well done. Congratulations.
So well done to you guys, and congratulations. We're excited to hear of your plans, and we're excited that you trusted us with all of this information, because the hope is that you will find partners. So going back to what Dr. Yvonne has said that we should do, right now we would like to take some remarks and contributions starting from this high table. Board members, we've heard from you. Your work is done. So unless you have a burning issue you want to share with us, I want to give the floor to
Dr. Nero first.
Dr. Nero is here, but we're going to go with Tamsin first. Just to give us some of your thoughts based on what you have now heard from the company, and then we'll go over to Dr. Nero. And then we'll open it up to the audience. Members of the press who are here, we'd like to acknowledge that you're here, and we thank you in advance for the wonderful stories that you're going to support the journey of this company. Over to you, Tamsin.
I mean, I'm really excited and inspired by where you could go. So I think there's several things that really stand out. One is that there are niche opportunities. When we've seen businesses succeed, it's always because they've found a hero product or a hero brand that helps them to stand out. And I think what you're doing is on the edge of a movement where there isn't really anyone filling that space. There are a few companies, particularly in the interior space, which are starting to look at how can you take this technology and turn it into products that people want, that solve the problems for companies like IKEA and others, some of the biggest companies in the world that have requirements and demands to meet in relation to integrating sustainability, demonstrating that they're making a difference, both social and environmental. So I think there's a niche and there's an opportunity. I think the key is to find the focus. We've also seen those businesses, so my background is in the fashion sector, but we're now moving into interiors and the built environment. And in some ways, the opportunities are bigger. But in fashion, what's made the businesses that make it, that get investment, that grow, that succeed, that expand, stand out is they've picked a single product and they've created their signature around it. They've found a product that works and they've kept focusing on it, not moving away. So, one of the most successful brands, sustainable brands in the fashion sector is Beija, so footwear. You'll now see they have stores in Covent Garden. It's really hard to break in sustainability because, as I said, many of the odds are stacked against the business. So they had to go further into where's the niche, where's the real opportunity, where's the demand that isn't being met. In this case, it was for a shoe that was immensely comfortable, so working incredibly hard on the design, iteration after iteration, to get a product that really works. And once they found it, they've stuck with it. Veja shoes haven't changed since they began, but they've expanded to to broaden that niche, so you can get Veja shoes in every color. So, what could you... I've come across a company, I don't know if you've come across them, called Tread, which is a quite successful UK interior product. They're using recycled tyres to make quite outstanding products, from planters to other things. Yeah. And it's just, where's that edge that the business... Because I think you've got the infrastructure, you've got the opportunity to be able to deliver against demand. Manufacturers in every country in Africa. The social story, which is missing. As we move into a circular economy, we're seeing the way we do business change. H&M now sees its biggest competitor as Vinted. It's not other high streets, it's not other brands, it's Vinted. So people are buying differently, and also starting to see, we're hearing the words just transition. We're recognizing that a circular economy might not be all good in relation to the people behind the product. We're buying all second-hand clothing. What does that mean for suppliers, for producers, for brands, for the people behind the product? There are huge challenges associated with that. So if you can place this company at the spearhead, at the front of a just transition, so you are transforming, you're addressing environmental challenges, but doing it in a way that benefits people, and the fact that it's a business based in Africa gives you an advantage from that perspective. I think there are some opportunities there, but it's how to get, what's exciting is how you get the messaging and the niche and find the right partners to start focusing on that one product and one message that makes this business stand out. And that's how investors will start to be interested.
Okay.
There is a lot to unpack, but knowing the people who are behind this company, I know the minds are also working. So I'm quite interested in seeing what they're going to make of this very detailed submission and contributions that you've made. Thank you, Tamsin. We're going to go over to Dr. Nero. Your thoughts, please.
Yeah, great. Thank you so much, and thank you, Faye, again, for expanding on what your company is doing. If you look at the questions for now, it's science, innovation, and technology. So I think we're in the right
Question
room.
2, yeah.
Back in 2020, just after I left government, I joined a program called Future Cities. And Future Cities was a program partly supported by the UK government and others, looking at different cities across the world and looking at ways in which we can really support these cities to build a much more sustainable future. And luckily for me, for the first time, I was part of the Lagos program. So for the first time in my life, I was back in Nigeria, working in Nigeria. So I was working, advising the Lagos state government on policy around, so it's all future cities, but urban regeneration. So this was specifically with LASURA, which is one of the agencies of the Lagos state government. The reason I'm talking about this is because one of the major aspects of the work that we were doing for them to build regulations around waste management. That was one of the core elements of this. And it's incredibly important to note that we are making some progress in Nigeria, but clearly we are not making near enough progress. And so there is an incredible opportunity for this business, even from just a pure business perspective. there's that incredible opportunity. If you think about the 36 states of Nigeria, there's very few that have any real sense of how waste management should be conducted, and so on and so forth. So I think there's an opportunity before going to Ghana, where Riviera is gone, before going to Ghana to really do the 36 states of Nigeria. There's great opportunity there. And I think the one aspect that I really want to focus on, one, the commerciality, I think that's really great. There's an opportunity for this business to grow, but alongside for it to grow, the ecosystem around it, the smaller enterprises, the individual one-man bands that can benefit from the sort of business opportunities that will flow from this. So I think that's an area to look at. I think you should also be thinking about questions around who is actually responsible, and there are two camps that I want to mention because we're in this building. I think government is responsible because of failure of leadership in the past, because of failure of proper regulations, proper governance. Here and in Africa, we have a situation where waste is causing significant problems for individuals, and that responsibility must come. They must come forward in terms of looking at new ways to support businesses like this, either by the provision of direct grants or by the creating an enabling environment like removing taxation and so on and so forth. So there's a range of interventions that government can do in order to support businesses like this, and I think that's critical. The second point is private industry, because all these tires are built by somebody. When they were building them, they didn't think, oh my God, what happens when the tire gets removed from a car and it's no longer useful? They didn't build anything about how do they collect them back, do something with them or whatever. There's no thoughts as this business is doing around making sure that you run a business that is a no waste business. So those companies, I think Dunlop, Michelin, all of the big companies that are producing tires, they have a responsibility and a duty now to go back and think about how they can help to clean up their mess. And there's no point in them, setting up silly schemes that are just about public relations. They can actually do the right thing and support businesses like this. So that's another area that we all need to be exploring about how we can force the industries that produce, these products to actually deal with the full impact of their products on our society. Finally, I would say there is a huge aspect of this that we must always talk about, and a business like this has to really focus on and drive, and that is about active citizenship. I think on so many levels, these issues will be addressed better where you have a well-informed and active public. If the public, one, is demanding that local government or state governments or national, international governments take their responsibilities seriously and support initiatives like this, I think that will go a long way. But also the behaviors and actions of individuals contribute to waste or contribute to tackling waste in the best possible way. So I think if the public is aware and knowledgeable about these issues, it will help us a great deal to move forward, both in terms of supporting initiatives that actually address the problems, but also in terms of their own behavior and their own contribution to the challenge in the first place. So I hope you will ask questions in those directions, and I hope we'll be moving some way forward towards that sort of the social justice aspect of this, of making sure that those who are responsible take their responsibility seriously, but that we all also recognize our contribution and we support this fantastic project to help it to grow and to do more across the continent. So thank you so much. Thank you.
Oh, he forgot the photo.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
So the floor is open, and sadly, Dr. Nero is not here to actually listen to your case study specifically of how you are holding tire makers accountable and the work that you are doing currently. And I do want the audience to have an opportunity to hear that in a moment. But because esteemed colleagues in the room, this is an important moment and we do need you to engage in this conversation. So I'm aware that I have two people who would want to make a remark and comments in regards to this conversation, and then there are investors in the room who would like to hear from you in terms of your thoughts around the very integrated approach of the business model of this brand and what you find really exciting, because I think it will be useful to also have some feedback. So can I rely on friends in the room to come with
Don't be shy.
Yes, please don't all rush at once. Thank you.
I think this lady over
Yeah.
here.
Thank you so much. But do bear with me for a moment. I have Dr. Bola Olabisi, who is going to give us a remark or a comment on some of the things that has been discussed so far. Dr. Bola is the founder of Gwyn. I will allow her to introduce her company to you, but she's relevant for this conversation because she showcases inventors and innovators who are Gwyn. And this work has been going on for, I think, 25 years, if I'm not mistaken. So she's been in the space for a long time. Over to you, Dr. Bola.
Okay, thank you very much. Good morning, everyone, and all protocols observed. I've listened, I've learned a lot, and it's very difficult sometimes to pass comments when nearly every single thing that you're thinking of has been said. But let me just bring a little light note to some of the more serious stuff that's been spoken about this morning. First of all, I'm excited. Nearly every month, I get some kind of message or comment about Ibadan. And those from Ibadan will know that they speak about the way we speak, how we pronounce things, what could come out of Ibadan. So I'm taking you to that local place where I am so excited that this innovative product is coming out of, because I am from Ibadan. And now I have something more exciting. So thank you very much. Let us bring it down to Ibadan, that local place. And I went to school in Akpata, Queen's School. So there we are. A lot is happening. So my comments, I'm excited because I get to see and meet women every day that are bringing innovative products to the world. And it's not every day that I see women from Africa doing something as amicable and as substantial as this. I'm excited because we're forever looking for women with tenacity, commitment, dedication in this space. So I thank you for this opportunity to listen to what's been said today. There are two main points that I would mention that we need to keep in mind all the time. That as much as we work and we put a lot of investment in this, there are areas that we need to work on. And the ones that come to me immediately are access to finance. As women, we're still 2% in terms of the access that we have for venture capital. And I know that the new task force that the UK is looking at and trying to see what we can do to try and increase that percentage, but just imagine, only 2% in 2024. So I don't know what your journey has been in terms of access to finance, but that is something that I know you mentioned, but I'd like to find out more perhaps later. And the second comment is awareness of intellectual property. Are we using it? Are we maximizing it to the best that we can? And how do we go mainstream and go bigger and better? So my comments are, those are the two main areas that I believe that we need to focus on, and I am extra excited that you have been nominated for the Global Awards that's coming up in October, and I am going to be there clapping all the way because I do believe that you deserve global recognition. Thank you.
Dr. Bola Olabisi for those remarks and, of course, the encouragement as well. I have next, I'm going to go to Dr. Tewa Onosoya, who is the founder of the Exquisite magazine and the Eloy Foundation Awards. Over to you.
Thank you. Great afternoon, everybody. Or morning, well, 3 minutes to afternoon. Well done to Free, I have to say that, and I have to say congratulations on the UK launch. This has been an insightful event, and we welcome you to England. And congratulations on being nominated for the Eloys last year, the Eloy Awards. As introduced, my name is Dr. Tewa Onosoya, and I am an entrepreneur and a mindset stylist. So I'm very big on the fact that the foundation of everything needs to be corrected or restyled one way or the other, which is the mindset. And if we're talking about the mindset, you mentioned earlier about some of the locals, maybe the less educated locals, that burn these tires, turn them into steel to sell. Now, the big work, and I want to know, how you're going to do this, or, what plans you have to do this, is how to help them to move their mindset away from, okay, this is what we have now, let's burn it, and just get this, this little thing out of it, to look at the bigger picture, where they could possibly or maybe work with you and see how, it can be bigger, so to speak, and it's not just them stealing these things and making, tiny money out of it, but looking at the bigger picture of where their mindset is shifted, and they're able to, one way or the other, work with you. That's my first one. My second comment is I appreciate the fact that you're working well. And did you mention that you work a lot with women as well? That is great. I'm a great women empowerment advocate, and I would love more women to be in this space. And part of what we do on the Eloy Awards Foundation is to highlight women who are doing exceptionally well in different fields, and also showcase them to other women that if this woman can do it, you can as well. So I would like you to also work in that space to let women know that it's not a male-dominated field. It's not something that only men should be doing, that women can be a part of this as well. Thank you.
And focusing on what you're saying about making this profitable. That's what we look at doing. So my question to you more is around, what are your largest costs at the moment? As you said, you're sending your fluff or your fibre to Lafarge to use it. So they're benefiting from that because they're actually making energy out of it. I'm assuming you're not getting paid for it. You're getting paid for it? Okay. Does that cover the costs of your power generation? So what we try and do is through our technology that we have, which is the Vortex, is we can take waste that normally goes to landfills. So we work a lot with the recycling industry, and we can take that, produce hot air, which in turn can produce power. So I had a brief conversation with your husband earlier, and looking at the amount of fluff that you're sending away could potentially be used to provide all the power that you require, which means you would be completely self-sustaining. And those are things that we look at where you can start to make companies that are not profitable because they're having to pay so much money on power and things like that. You can actually start to be completely circular and produce your own power. And depending on what other processes you might have, if it requires heating or steam, we've worked with many industries to create the sustainability in them by using our technology and also by making them profitable. So that's something that I think sort of take a step back and look at your costs and see where you can cut some of those costs out and use new technologies to actually be able to make it profitable. We've got 3 sites in the UK. Our main site is in Daventry, near Coventry. We've got one in Yorkshire, and in Fleetwood and Blackpool. So we're doing expansion, and we are soon to be expanding into Africa in the coming months, where we will be looking at cleaning up coal discard to start with, so working with some of the big companies there to provide steam for processing. But we can use plastics. We work a lot with the waste and refrigeration recycling companies, and we basically recycle. The other big one is the car recycling companies. We work with them to take everything that normally goes to landfill, excluding the tires. We take what's called the auto shred residue, so we can put that through our system as well, again to create the circular economy. So exactly like yourself is the kind of people that we like to work with to do that.
However, we're currently exploring solutions, much more cleaner solutions. Recently, we got a transformer that would allow us to connect directly to the grid. But then, just like you said, there are power cuts from time to time. But then it will be interesting to see, the solution that they have, and to explore how we could possibly integrate it into our solutions, into our system rather. Yes.
Fantastic.
I have a question for Ashley. Do you see any line of collaboration between yourself and Ashley?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, just again, days are very high. I like to work on numbers. So I've done some quick high-level numbers on, again, looking at the plant that you mentioned earlier. I think you basically, again, this is what the council gets. They get about £3 per tyre is what you get as a gate fee. If you looked at doing that in the UK, on your plant, that would make £9 million per annum. And then you can do your recycling on top of that. If you've got the sustainability of the power, that's a very profitable business.
Fantastic. Thank you for that.
Okay.
So you have a question. And when you are about to speak, please introduce yourself and your company so we
All right, good afternoon. Sorry, it's past 12. So good afternoon. So my name is Dr. Adetoro Bankomotoye, a real estate developer based in Nigeria. And I want to thank you for the presentation. And honestly, there's a whole lot I've learned. It takes me back memory lane, when we were much younger. The best we could do with used tires, was roll it, and some of us had accidents, rolling tires on the roads and knocked down by, so. But to think that, they're put into good economic use, it's just something beautiful. But all right. So, my name is Dr. Adetoro Bankomotoye. Right. We're real estate developers in Nigeria, and we're doing it on a very large scale. The UK standard of housing. That's what we do. So I'm looking at how well, because I see quite a lot of the products that you have here, tiles, interlocking, mats and pavers, and concrete expansion joints. A lot of these products that we use in the real estate industry, the infrastructure and all that. And to think that your products are not well in use in that space as much as it should is something that I think you want to look at. So I'm looking at the paving mats, interlocking mats. Right now, we are paying so much for, yes, a whole lot. And I think this could help crash things, in terms of prices for us. I mean, to get cement, concrete, and all that, it's crazy. So these are solutions that I think can really help make things happen better in that space for us. So let's think about how we could work together in that space. And then my other thoughts will be around the source, how you source your tires. I mean, I know that, in Nigeria, people drive their cars and the tire until there's no more tire. So, but it's so. I'm wondering how you're able to source those tires in such good volumes that will help make things happen to the commercial quantity that's required to make this. I'm quite interested in that, so that there's adequate supplies.
Thank you.
My name is Hantuni Barlow Undukuba. I'm the founder of Culture Lab. Culture Lab is a consultancy that generally sits on the edge of culture, heritage, and the arts, and we try to do as many events and get involved in as many projects that we can, which will essentially celebrate our heritage and our culture in new ways, while also promoting the export of our cultural and creative exports from Nigeria. So firstly, a huge congratulations, Ifedapo. I think what you're doing sounds like no easy feat, and there's also such a massive sort of like scope left for you to achieve within it. So huge congratulations. While you were speaking, you mentioned, I have two questions actually. So the first one, while you were speaking, you mentioned the informal economy. As you said, Nigeria has a really huge informal economy that is thriving. One of the things I've noticed is that tires already form a part of this informal economy in terms of their ad hoc furniture that they use. So my first question would be that are you considering as well how the use of tires can almost be formalized as well for this economy in terms of the furniture that they're using to sell things on the streets of Nigeria? Because I think there is definitely a really interesting space there that could be addressed. The second question I have, which ties in quite closely to what Dr. Tawa said, and also to what Banksamote also said, is that in terms of how you're sourcing these tires, I know other people who are operating in the recycling world, and the question I have is, are you actually getting the tires for free? Because I know there's also once these landfill sites, once they understand that you do have a need for it, regardless of the fact that you're actually doing some sort of social good, because you're taking it off them where they would have burnt it previously, then they want to charge you essentially to take it off their hands. So are you having to pay for the tires? And if you are having to pay for the tires as well, do you have plans in which you have some sort of program which can get people to actually bring their tires to you for some kind of incentive, which doesn't necessarily have to be purely sort of financial, but it could be maybe like a trade for products instead? Those are my two questions.
So I think I'll start with your last question as regards whether or not we buy tires. So it might sound strange, but we do buy some tires. First of all, let me stress that for circular economy to work in Africa, it has to be driven by incentives more than it's being driven in Europe or any other continent across the globe. And so when we started out, we were buying tires. We are still buying tires, right? And it's just a way to actually create awareness to say, we don't want you burning those tires. You bring them to us. You can get something in return for the tires. But that itself is not sustainable for long. right? Hence why we didn't have EPR in place when Free started in 2020. So we basically had to design our own program, which is Extended Consumer Responsibility Program. While it might be difficult to hold individuals responsible, given that the Nigerian market, it's unique in its own way. But then we have large corporate international organizations in Nigeria. So we basically developed this program to say, okay, how do we work with corporates who generate waste tires across their value chain and come on board as their recycling partners? And so far, since 2021, we've had a lot of success. We're recycling partners for Maersk Shipping Company, APM Terminals. We're recycling partners for Access Bank in Nigeria, for Seplat, for International Red Cross. And, you know, it's very commendable what they've done to recognize the fact that their tires, they should know what happens to the end of life cycle of the tires they're generating. But like I've said, what we would like to see work instead, or in addition to this, would be the extended producer responsibility. Now we currently have for waste tires, it was commissioned last year. I think it's about 9 months old now, pretty much in its early stages, but then we were at the forefront of it. Of course, because we're also a stakeholder, you have to be careful how much role, you have to be careful with what role you're playing, but we are in that value chain. We're at the forefront of that conversation to drive it. Currently, there are no manufacturers of tires in Nigeria, passenger car tires all the way up to your OTR tires, off-the-road tires and all that. But then, these tires find their way into the country from big brands across the continent. We still need to hold them responsible. I know that several other countries, they have billions and millions in EPR funds that businesses like ours can access. That is not the case in Nigeria at the moment, and in a lot of African countries actually. But we need that to work, because not only will it enable this, provide an enabling environment for businesses like ours, it will also help us survive, be sustainable, and then also attract investors as well. And then to your question as regards the informal sector, there's a lot of activities in the informal sector, and they also play a very, very crucial role. But what you have mostly happening is upcycling. And it's cheaper to upcycle than it is to recycle. It's cost us millions of dollars to actually set up the infrastructure that we currently run in Nigeria. So it's very, very different, but that's not to say that they don't play a crucial role. It's very, very, important, the role that they also play. And from time to time, we'll find ways in which we can collaborate and also work together, because ultimately, we're all working towards the same goal. Yeah, thank you.
Okay, did you have a response for the doctor?
Yes. Your question was about the real estate industry. First of all, our products, they're quite useful in your sector. And since inception till date, we've deployed our product for use in gyms, in residential properties, walkway, driveway, pool areas as well. And then quite recently, we're testing the use of our material as expansion joints in the construction industry. So as soon as we have those certifications in place, we'll be ready to deploy that product to the market. But yes, there are a lot of opportunities there. Even I think there's a research document that we're reading recently about using the waste tires as a base in areas where you have water issues in the foundation. So there's a lot of things. Rubber is quite versatile, and it requires R&D to unlock more and more potentials. R&D requires funding. Mm-hmm. So, hopefully, every now and then we can tell you and show you more innovative solutions that we're able to achieve from recycled tires.
Thank you. Okay, we're going to start winding up. So if there are any more questions, Charlie, do you have a question or a comment, or Lucky? Just a sec.
Our world is looking at shelters for Africa right now. To put that into context, the Zimbabwean cabinet and First Lady just turned down 1 million units times $5,000. So the initial order was $5 billion for refugee and migrant shelters. And so my wife started a company in America. We got to 6,000 stores with Costco and Whole Foods recently, with plantain, yucca, and coconut products. So we've instructed the Zimbabwean government to grow hemp and cassava. I'm interested in exploring the opportunity of putting rubber into the product. The shelter issue on the planet cannot have shipping coming from China, for instance, into African countries. It has to come from within the ground. And like so much of the construction that has happened, there's so much opportunity to create this solution. To put it into context, just so you're aware, that there's 35 million migrants today. There will be 380 million because of people's ignorance to climate. There is nothing more expensive in our world than ignorance. And no one is touching climate. They can't see it. So the personal benefit, which has been alluded to here, is absolutely essential to get the trickle that you have at the moment into a tsunami. Because conversely, there will be a tsunami when it comes to refugees. And the cost of 380 million, if you look at the British government's cost per refugee at the moment of £19,000 a refugee, if we get to 2030, the cost is $9.77 trillion just in the housing of refugees and the impact of food and water, education, everything. As a context, I was executive director of Nelson Mandela's last nonprofit with his wife, Gracia Michelle, who was the first chairwoman of the African Council. And when Princess Diana died, landmines cost $1,000 to remove. We were able to bring that cost down to $8 very quickly. So alluding into, the advisory committee that can be around you and the board to really analyze the costs and the benefits that you can have around that, I think that's absolutely essential to take what you've got, which is absolutely brilliant, both into your own country and across the world. I'm the first non-Mayan member of the Mayan Wisdom Council because I've lived in the Yucatan for the last 11 years. And I can assure you that in Mexico, Colombia, across the world, there is this massive issue. And so that's where we started. And then to finish, we do have multi-cropping farms now that I support across Africa. And I funded the first women's empowerment college for the first ever female president in Africa, which was in Liberia. And I just want to assure every person in this room that what was central 2,200 years ago with Christ became peripheral today, and what was peripheral became central. And we all separated because of the love of power rather than the power of love. And we didn't think about recycling. We also think that we are, as humans, are untouchable when it comes to nature. And this planet is a sentient being. It doesn't have a hierarchy that makes us more superior than the trees and the rubber plants and everything else. And we're within a few years now, just a few years, of chaotic emergence, which we're in at the moment, everywhere, bringing forward a choice of authentic exchange. So you're the vanguard of this in your area. You are pioneering something that will inevitably be embraced by the planet, despite of you as much as because of you. And so I applaud you tremendously.
Thank you. Because I said we're coming to the end, everybody wants to talk.
I'm just going to be 1 minute.
To get everybody in. This lady's been very patient, and I'll go to you and Scar, and the lady at the I shouldn't call you the lady, but you know what I mean. And then Lucky, and then we keep going. After you, can we make it shorter? Do you want to write down the keys? Oh, fantastic. And do you want to take some of the questions?
Yeah. Yeah. So my name is Dr. Feintola Runshewe. We bear the same surname. So your story is so powerful, Ife, and I'm so very proud of you. And I think you should continue to share the story because it's your why, and your why is really bigger than your vision. Okay, I jotted a few things down. They are mainly comments, and I want to wish the entire Free team a massive congratulations. This is a big opportunity for this business to grow. And in diverting waste from landfills and incinerators, like you reported in your story in Nigeria, we all know recycling helps to decrease the release of harmful greenhouse gases and toxic pollutants into the air. From the health point of view, as that is my space, and potentially in years to come, we know that cleaner air would eventually improve our respiratory health and reduce the risk of respiratory illnesses like asthma, the COPD. A lot of people will come down with those illnesses, and being able to recycle would improve clean air. You mentioned community awareness, education, and advocacy, and this is so fundamental, and I think it's very crucial that we need to work on this, as it's obvious the positive impact recycling is going to have on our overall health on the long term. So we need to collaborate with the Ministry of Health and Environment back in Nigeria to begin to talk about advocacy and educate the community. Thank you.
And I'm an international fashion consultant, and I usually have my shows in LA, Los Angeles, and in Las Vegas. My background is nursing. I did human kinetics and health in University of Ibadan, by the way. So I know Ibadan, and I appreciate this ongoing conversation about recycling and stuff. So my question today is, the way this whole conversation is going is quite exciting, it's interesting, and I think it's going in a very big way, in a good direction. And we are going to have International Business Forum in Las Vegas in September. I'm just wondering if it's something you might be interested to bring on to our forum to talk about this recycling and International Business Forum in Las Vegas. 15th of September, 14th to 17th of September. It's usually 4 days. Yeah, so we have the networking session, we have the business meetings, we have investors coming. So I'm just wondering if you may want to extend this to some of the African communities in Nevada or in Los Angeles. In Los Angeles, we have that in November. But I mean, we can start with Nevada in September, if it's something you'll be interested in, and we can, move this agenda forward.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Thank you. Lady first.
My name is Teresa Chin, and I'm originally from Kenya, but I live in the UK. First and foremost, I just want to congratulate you, because to be in the space that you are in is quite challenging, especially in Africa. It's slightly different in the UK and Europe, because there's a lot of financing that go around for R&D and all the research, and you can play around with your ideas and obviously secure them as well. Slightly louder. They're as loud as it. I'll say it again. Hello, my name is Perez Ochieng, and my company is called Sakoma Global Food Innovation. I'm originally from Kenya, but I live in UK now for the last 30 years. So I've done a lot of things in the UK. We are now in the space of food innovation and product development, and we've won several awards for it, and I'm sure Yvonne knows about it, and Dr. Ball as well. But mine is to really congratulate you, because the space you're working in is really challenging, and especially where you are geographically located and the resources that are available for you. But I want to encourage you that it's a good space. You're a pioneer in a lot of industries. There are a lot going around with the recycling and upcycling. But I can offer you an opportunity to partner with us in several things. Other than just being in our own space of food innovation, we have recently launched what we call Retail Ready program. And in Retail Ready, we help businesses like yours that want to launch their products in the UK market to look at standardization and quality controls and how it fits into the market. Your readiness or your sandals is something that we can look at. But there's also opportunity for us to partner, because I'm also a researcher at the university, and currently we are researching on what is waste from sugarcane for building materials. So there's a space there for us to collaborate in further research. But other than that, there's a thing called opportunity for us to share minds and explore other areas that I know a lot of people working in the technology space you're working in. My office is based in an innovation center, and we see a lot of companies around technology about waste management. We are also doing upcycling, insect bioconversion into sustainable proteins as well. So I'd love to be able to explore opportunities for further research, collaboration, or bringing your products into the market, helping to standardize. And lastly, I heard you mention about net zero and zero waste. So we've just been nominated for Zero Waste Award. But I like the idea of net zero of your product, because our retail shop is focused on net zero waste products. And I'd be happy to really collaborate you in taking your products into our retail centers around the area of decarbonized food products and materials as well, and research, yeah. But other than that, I think it's a great thing. I'm glad that I was here today to meet you, and I was invited to be able to see great minds as well and encourage you by my presence and opportunity.
Yes, my name is Femi Okutubo. Is it okay to sit? I know everybody's been sitting, but I don't know if I'm sitting. Would it be easier to stand? Okay, as long as I can speak loud, okay. My name is Femi Okutubo, and I'm the publisher of Trumpet Media Group. It's nice to see so many faces that one is familiar with. Now, I see that Ibadan is one of the passcodes for today's event. So, I've got, I don't come from Ibadan like Dr. Olabisi, but about 12 days ago, I was still in Ibadan, and I actually spent 2 days there. So it's nice to see this product out of Ibadan. Now, mine is more of a message of encouragement and support for the great work that you've been doing. For the last 29 years plus, we've been trying as much as possible to if you like, present the positive side of Africa in terms of events, to sort of tackle the stereotypes that are against the continent. And I think it's a breath of fresh air to see yet another positive story coming out of Africa. And it's just to say that in our own little way, we'll continue to lend our support to your story. And I think, you're definitely in the right direction, especially in the context of a Nigeria where not enough attention is being paid to waste. So to see that something is actually being done in this regard, I think is something that needs to be encouraged. Thank you so much.
Hi, this is I'm Lucky Singh. I run something called the 24 Global Impact Community. I run something called the Global 24 Global Impact Community. And one of the core things that I'm looking to do is build up projects which are either light impact or high impact. So hence I'm involved a tiny little bit with Flair. I'm also working with Charlie with Play for Peace. So I sort of feel that I've got a lot of responsibility because I have a very good network, and so whatever I sort of turn my mind to, I can bring some value. So I think one of the areas where I can probably help is possibly look at funding and we specialize in debt and equity and MES type funding. So we could either get investment from similar projects that we're doing in India around the healthcare sector, but we could also be, because we're doing health impact, but health impact also then comes into sustainability. So we'll be looking to replicate a lot of those projects into Africa as well, and vice versa. So there's a lot of opportunity to potentially work with FREE to support you in terms of match funding with potential funders that to work in that particular area. But I just wanted to say more broadly, I think it's very important that we don't treat Africa separately from anything else. I think there's a lot of global work that's going on which actually can be replicated in nearly every continent, and it's a very small world. So even with Jasmine, I think we know some similar people. We know Francesca Gobbi, who's actually got a product called Frida.me, and she sort of asked me to sort of be a co-founder with her on that. So I think there's lots of opportunity to sort of collaborate. And I think just sitting down together for a few hours, having a casual conversation could make all that difference. That's it.
Thank you. Profession. I work with a bank in the UK here called Feed Bank. It's a small bank, but it's a subsidiary of a very big bank in Nigeria, Fidelity Bank PLC. Okay, I'm very happy I was invited by IFE to this launch, and it's been an eye-opening event. I know a bit about FREE and what they've done in Nigeria. I mean, the first time I saw their products, I was taken aback because I had seen some of them at playgrounds without really knowing the source. So I'm very, very happy to be here and get associated with your company. Congratulations. There's a whole lot going on in Nigeria, banking sector, with regards to sustainable banking. So Dr. Labisi mentioned something about access to finance. I know without a doubt that she can get financing anywhere because the product speaks for itself. What she's done already on her own, or what the company, the board, everybody, they've done already without so much help from the banking sector, I believe any bank would be happy to support them in upscaling. So coming to the UK, we're here in the UK, and we will be willing to collaborate with you because we're also focusing on that in the bank. So I just want to say congratulations, and the opportunities are there for financing for your company. Thank you very much.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Dr. Igo Ikibu. I'm from the Center for Sustainable Innovation from the University of Suffolk. I want to first of all say congratulations to the FREE team, openly, because I've done this several times. We've had a couple of meetings even before today with regards to how we can help them, to be sustainable and to grow their business and to scale the business as well. Some of the key things that we've been able to establish today is the fact that this is a very viable business idea, and the fact that there is access for funding. Also, the fact that the technical bit of it is also something that has been resolved. So all we're thinking about is actually how do we scale this business, this innovative business idea, to something that production output can be maximized, and everyone can basically be able to see the benefit at the end of the day. But one of the things to sustainable business ideas, or if you like, circular business model, is being able to identify some of the barriers that are hindering it. And today we've been able to identify these barriers, or some of these barriers. A key one is a lack of regulatory framework, especially coming from a country from within the global south, like Nigeria, where probably there is none existing regulatory framework, or the implementation of this regulatory framework is not there. When you compare that to the UK, for example, where these manufacturers have to report on how they've basically been able to get rid of their waste from the society. I think For example, in the year 2023, about more than 2,000 companies have to report. When I say companies, I'm talking about the huge organizations like the BMWs and their suppliers in terms of the product we are basically focusing on today, the tires. But this is not the case in Nigeria. So I'm quite happy that this program was actually hosted within this House of Parliament. And I was also very happy earlier on in the morning session when I observed that there was a representative from the Nigerian government to kind of contribute to what we're doing, which shows some kind of receptions to these ideas. So I'll be very, very happy if the people, for example, the policymakers, we're talking about the UK government and the Nigerian government represented here by the High Commission, to take back some of this feedback in terms of the regulatory frameworks to make things easier and basically to make the business operations of the organizations, or if you like, free recycle easier by ensuring the right regulatory frameworks are in place and that they are implemented. I think that's the only way we could basically move forward. I don't want to answer what regulatory framework is already on ground, because even though if it's on ground, it's not working or it's not effective. So we want to see how they can basically move this forward, how they can implement these frameworks to make sure that businesses like Free get the support that they want. So one of such framework is the extended producer responsibility. I think Ife mentioned that already today. And also to see how we can have regulatory framework to drive awareness in terms of these products that are very harmful to the society. And I think that's mainly my contribution today. Thank you so much.
We do really have to start winding up. In fact, we need to wind up. We've been very, Bell's office has been very gracious, but we cannot be in this room without pass holder, and her EA needs to go back to her office. So with that said, we would be really grateful if we can just get 1 or 2 comments from the board, and then after that we really do need to close down this particular session. I'm sure you're going to be available. Maybe we can have a quick chat outside, but if we can turn to the board members, can we please make it as short as possible, because we should have been out of here 10 minutes ago. Okay. Thank you. Over to you. Okay. Who's going first?
All right, I'll go first. All right, good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you very much for the kind comment, the insights, the support offered. It's been quite very overwhelming. And thank you for the reception. It's always just been, good comments and gracious insights and offer support from everyone. So that's quite very much appreciated. So for a company like Free, I know the MD has been quite gracious or brave about it. It's been a struggle. So there's a reason why they started out something out 4 years ago, and they are the only ones still doing it. If it was that easy, or it was that profitable, it was that viable, you'd have had about 4, 5, 6 people come in 4 years. 4 years ago, they had the BBC feature, they had Reuters feature, they had everything. They still have it every year. So it's because it's quite tough. However, with the proper team, with the proper intention, with the proper focus, with proper resilience, we've been able to not only get to this stage, but we've been able to make a success of it. So I want to thank everybody. We'll still count on your support, and we're quite very confident from the board side that we're on the right path. And then every time when you go certain places, the right places actually, you hear the right voices, and they point out to you that you're doing the brave part, but then you're on the right path now. So quite pleased to know that we are in the right room, and we're heading the right things along. And I'm quite pleased about certain conversations in here, the Office for Support, and then it's good to know that other people are doing their own part also, so they understand what you're doing, and there's a lot of collaboration collaborative opportunities available for us in this. I think the only question I want to answer, because if anybody has guessed, I'm the finance guy, is her question asking about what exactly is the hero product. The hero product for the company, from what my mentor has given us and what the strategy of the company, is the flip-flop. So for a company like Free Recycle, you almost have to push out about 10, 15 products before you settle on one hero product. You know, you'd start with that's why they seem to have so many product lines, because you start with one product line, it moves, but for some reason it could be seasonal. And then because the regulatory framework is still, they're trying the best they can, but it's still catching up with the challenges. So it means that you still keep having to try till you find the one that works, and that's the one that you push out the most. So as of now, where the hero products are now are the flip-flop, the fashion products, but they have a lot of other products, right, that are still working. And like the MD said, recycled products are more expensive than the virgin products still, but it's because you have an option. If you didn't have an option, how can it be optional for you to do the right thing or to do something else? But we're getting there with the right people, the right voices, and with the right role models, like Free Recycle Holding. I'm certain we'll all get to the proper destination. So thank you very much. I want to thank everybody for their comments and kind words. And thank Dr. Yvonne Thompson, thank Compass Global, Baron Verma, and everyone that's taken time this morning to come support this. We thank you very much profusely on behalf of the board. Thank you. Did I say anything?
No, I think you've said it all.
Very good.
Yeah.
Thank you for all of this hard work in less than a month. Thank you to Tamsin for bringing your knowledge. We see you as a friend of our process, and I'm hoping that you will find time to convene and discuss about the potential that is there for you and Free. To our guests in the room, colleagues, business partners, thank you for taking time. Follow us on the relevant social media handles. Be interested in this journey, everyone. You were here, you heard it. Let's keep the conversation going. To our host, the House of Commons, thank you for your grace. Thank you for allowing us to host this event here. Thank you, everyone. And thank you, Free, for trusting us. Quick photo. Everyone, please.